All right. So we are recording this now. If you guys, if you could mute your devices, that will help us. And then because we can see everybody, if you just like raise your hand, we'll get to you if you have any questions. I hope everybody's wearing pants. If not, this makes it a little bit awkward. But it looks like everybody may be. Well, Melissa's definitely not. So anyway, thank you guys for all being here, being a part of the challenge, and just another thing that we wanted to be able to bring you guys as far as value, and here's what we are hoping that we get out of all of this. The main thing that we're looking for is to be able to get you guys results in your controllables. So what does that mean? That means that you guys are getting not just your workouts right now, but we want to focus on the things that, because we are at home, like what are things that we could actually get better with? Specifically, nutrition. Okay. 2, your sleep. 3, your water intake. Yes, your workouts. And then also is there one more?
It's all the progress stuff. We're going to be measuring things out to see if we're progressing, which we will be if we're all, in this together and helping each other out. So we'll be taking measurements like waist measurements, chest measurements. We're taking progress photos so we can like really be able to see like side by side how things are changing, which is really exciting because once you start to see results, it gets like, oh, I want more. Like I can do this,
That's right. So, and we decided to make it a game. Now, here's what we typically in our challenges that we've done like this in the past, they've been a fee. There's been associated with that, and that sometimes people would win something. Sometimes that, it was included for when somebody would first sign up in a membership. But we wanted to just be able to focus on you guys rather than winning something, that your body, the way that it looks, on how you feel mentally, physically coming out of this, that you guys are ready to assimilate back into the gym and also back into normal life. So that's why we wanted to do this, and so that you guys had something that we could jump on a call twice a week. And she's going to be doing those, and she'll be sending out that message. And then those will be like FAQs, like frequently asked questions about what you should be thinking about, what you should be doing. Like, hey, I'm having, these struggles with my food. Like, what are some tips to be able to get past all of that? The nutrition guide that we included inside of the challenge, when you guys log in, it's a paleo based format. Okay. Now, granted, some of you may not be paleo. That's fine. We wanted to be able to give people something rather than nothing. Okay. So if that is something you're like, hey, but I'm plant-based, that's fine. Okay. You don't have to eat paleo, but we wanted to at least be able to provide a guide for you guys. And we can also provide another one as well if that paleo one does not work for you. So now going back to the actual challenge, we are I ran into some problems with Wodify, and what we are doing about that is that we wanted to make sure that everybody was able to participate. So that means that when we had to push the date out because it closed this morning at like 12:01, and then more people couldn't get in on it. So if you already signed up for it yesterday, you are able to see like the start of the challenge and like kind of what it looks like already. But we're going to wait until Friday for everybody to officially start so that everybody can get in on it. Um, that's going to be important because you may, when you log into Wodify Rise, the app, you're going to want to go to either your app store, so the Apple App Store, or the Google Play Store, and be able to download the app there. That's going to be important because you have information that is going to allow for you to uh, log everything in on that platform, and it makes it easier for you to follow along, collect your points, and you can also just see the entire challenge there. There's the frequently asked questions. Is there some other guidelines that you want to talk about?
Um, it's more so just making sure that um, you kind of staying on top of it, so like you can get all the points that you can get. Um, the frequently asked questions, like if you're, it's like it'll also be more like tips and tricks of like how to be better at something, or if you're struggling at something, be like, okay, well, it's a chance for everyone to talk to, be like, oh well, I've tried this and it's really helped. And it'll help everyone out, because even though there isn't like a prize at the end, I mean the
I'm
real prize
sorry.
is
Can you
not
speak a little
taking that.
closer to the mic?
Closer to the mic.
Sorry. Even though there isn't like a prize at the end, it's the real prize is like, oh, like even though I stayed home for a month, I actually came out better on the other side, type of thing, and I found like great healthy new habits. And it's so like that, those Zoom calls will really like help us connect as a community. It'll help us better ourselves, and it'll help us like stay on track with things. So it's really important to like making sure that you have the app, making sure that you're logging everything in, so everything can just like run smoother.
Now, the thing with the app, if you decide not to gamify it and you're like, well, I'm not really a competitive person, that's okay. But what we're looking for is habits here. We want you to actually be able to log your stuff in. And if you don't care about the points, that's fine. But we're looking for healthy habits here that you guys will be able to say, oh, I got it. Like I'm starting to log my food every day. Like that's the habit that we're looking for. Two, we're looking for you to start tracking your sleep, because then if you're able to track your sleep, you're able to go, interesting, I've had less coffee today. And for example, I drink coffee like twice a day. Once in the morning, I love making my coffee. It's like my thing that keeps me sane. The second time is typically after lunch. I really enjoy that as well. However, since we've been on this entire kick, I have been getting more sleep, like close to 8, 9 hours. And I haven't needed that extra caffeine in the middle of the day. Granted, it may be because I'm sleeping until 8 or 9, which is totally different, but that may be it. I don't know. But it definitely has cut my caffeine intake down. Now, the next thing is that Chris, my wife, she brought up the point of like, well, the water thing. It says um, half of your body weight in ounces. What does that mean? All right. For example, let's say you're a 200-pound male. You are going to want to consume 100 ounces of water a day. If you are a 140-pound female, you're going to want to consume 70 ounces of water a day. So what does that break down to? How can you divide that out? Now, that doesn't mean that you need to go and drink all the water in one sitting, right? It is about making sure
Please
that,
don't do that.
please don't, right? But making sure that you have the right amount of water intake throughout the course of the day. And what you will notice is that um, if you don't, at the end of the day, you're consuming a ton of water, and then you wake up a lot in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. So starting off, let's just use this for example. If you're 160 pounds, that's 80 ounces. You have a 10-ounce glass. You're going to consume that 8 times. All right. So we're unable to use meathead math in the gym right now. We can use it with our water. So make sure that you are dividing out your water intake throughout the day. Now, what helps, if you look on the bottom of your water bottle, you will see that there is a certain amount of ounces there. So this is 18. All right. That'll tell you exactly how much water that will be in there. And if you go, okay, so that means that I need to drink 6 of these a day. Got it. Okay. That will help. Now, for every cup of coffee that you have, you need to have an extra ounce, like extra 8 to 10 ounces of water for every cup, because prior to popular belief, even though that you make coffee with water, it is still a diuretic, okay? And it's still going to leave you actually dehydrated, not satiated. Is that right? Hydrated, give or take. Words, language.
It'll actually leave you satiated.
Yes, satiated and hydrated.
Dehydrated.
Dehydrated. Water will leave you hydrated. So tea, James, if you're looking at tea, like green tea, similar concept there.
Anything with caffeine will leave your body dehydrated. Anything with caffeine will leave your body dehydrated.
I think it's only hooked up for one mic. I think hers is just there and it's picking up mine.
Oh, it's just for show.
It's just for show. I think that's what we learned, because James is like, could you speak into the mic? Well, we'll keep it there. We'll keep it there. So that's so anything that has caffeine, that's what you're going to run into there. Now, let's go back to nutrition. All right. Nutrition during this time. Okay. We don't care which plan that you decide to do. If you decide to do paleo, if you decide to do macros, if you decide to do plant-based, whatever you're going to do, we are looking for something that will allow for you guys to be consistent. All right. So for me, macros works because I know exactly how much is going into my body. I know what works as far as macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbs. Those things are all really, really helpful. Now, if you're not sure what you should be doing there, you can go to TDEE.com, I think. Total daily energy expenditure calculator. Search that in Google.
Chat.
What's that?
Could you post all the links in the chat so we have them?
Yes.
Drew, it's tdeecalculator.com. tdeecalculator.com.
Yep. So I'm gonna have Leanna sign in actually from hers there, because my computer's all the way over there, and it'll so we'll do that. Stand by. To answer Liz's question, herbal tea, that, why don't we just say this? Any beverage, okay, tea, coffee, alcohol, dun, 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 does not count towards your water intake. We'll just say that. Make a large sweeping statement there.
But the only beverage that we have to actually supplement with more water after consuming it is a caffeinated beverage.
Correct.
Got it.
And the same with an alcoholic drink. Because as most of you already know, alcohol dehydrates you as well. So, you in?
Yeah.
Cool. I would just mute so there's no
muted.
feedback. Great. All right. Leanna's going to be typing that stuff into the chat. So that's where I would start with your macronutrients. Now, most of you, here's where I would start. If you're going to do the macro thing and you're going to follow your total daily energy expenditure, you're going to want to go on a 10% cut right now. All right. Why? Because you are not moving in the same capacity that you normally are. You're sitting more, you're relaxing more. So that means we need to be consuming less calories. Some of us may be eating the exact same. Yes, Christina, that may be it. I always Google it. So the thing is that most of us aren't moving the same. So even if you're going out on your walks and you're doing the things, there's also different things going on, right? So your brain may not be working in the same way that utilizes calories to make your brain process a different way. So the things that you do in your everyday life is now different. So your brain isn't functioning in the same way. So that still burns calories, right? So we have to think about taking the food that we're consuming, that it actually is, that we need to be at in a deficit right now. Now, if you're looking to be at a greater deficit and actually come out of this looking like you are a lean machine, I would put yourself anywhere between a 15 and a 20% deficit. That's a lot. All right. Right now, if you can do a 10% cut, that's going to be great. Just purely off of like, it's going to be different than what you're used to. You're probably going to be hungry. All right. And then a lot of people, when they first start something like this, they are hungry. It's different, right? And you're going to experience hunger pains, but that is something that you can get over, right? And it's just like anything, like what we experienced last week. That first week was rough. Okay. The second week, you go, okay, I'm all right. Like it's Wednesday, right? Like it's about ready to be Saturday and we're going to wake up and be like, what has happened? So we are getting through this. I know that it sucks, but we are making the most of this opportunity. And if we can start to change our perspective in all of this, we are going to win on the other side. All right. So think about what you've already been through. You can get through it. The hunger pains are going to be there, right? And this is a common thing you'll hear. Well, eat smaller meals throughout the day. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think when it comes down to that, it's very person dependent. Like if that helps you like stay sane with eating less and to trick your mind into that you're eating more because you're eating smaller meals a day, then, you know, by all means go for it. But honestly, it doesn't make much of a difference. You can have 3 meals, you can have 5 meals, as long as you're staying within your calories and your macros. And just a little pro tip, even if you do get hungry with this cut, if you're meeting your water intake, it'll actually help you feel fuller. So the hunger pains won't be as bad. So meet your water intake, and this cut, this deficit will not hit as hard.
Why is that?
Because sometimes we confuse hunger and thirst. Like sometimes we think we're hungry, but really our bodies are just dehydrated and it's asking for really just anything. It's like, just give me something. And if we give it water, which is what it really needs, then like that feeling will go away and we'll be like, oh, I wasn't hungry. I was just really, really thirsty and dehydrated. So if we're meeting our water intake, which most of us don't on a daily basis, then we'll find ourselves less hungry and more compliable to meet our calories.
The other thing is that if you do this, it will fill up your stomach. That is also part of it. It'll fill up your stomach. The other thing is that if you guys eat enough fibrous foods, fiber helps with satiation, okay? It will make you feel full, right? We're also wanting to look for dense foods like what's that?
Whole foods.
Macro whole foods, right? So those things are going to be really important to help you feel full, okay? Now, I want to share a little bit of my experience going through this. I worked with a working against gravity coach for 12 weeks. I learned a ton about this. Now, mind you, we are a working against gravity gym. Leanna is going through the coach certification program. And that is why we're having her do this. Astrid is also precision nutrition, but I wanted to be able to have Leanna do this because she is, well, her job got kind of taken away because she's front desk. So, um, and I wanted to be able to offer her something while we're all remote as coaches that she can still be doing her part. So anyway, but back to the working against gravity part is that when you start tracking your food, and because if you start, let's just say we'll use Chipotle, for example. I eat a lot of it. Okay. My coach would crush me for it because she said, the reason why you are hungry is because that it's, you don't have control of the amount of the total calories. Okay. So that means that I would have rice, right? Their rice, they mix with oil. Okay. So it makes it heavier in fat content. Then I would have the chicken. Their chicken is what it is. And then I would have guac with it. Their guac has more fat in it because of something else that they put in it. So next thing you know, it by the what would be a really low calorie meal now ends up being a higher fat intake meal. And even though that I actually would weigh it all out, I would go to Chipotle and I would weigh out. I would say, hey, can you use these plastic cups? Because I've actually weighed all the plastic cups with food in it. And they would be like, sure. And I would have them do that so that I could get a barometer of what was going on. When I did that, I weighed out everything and I would still find myself hungry. When I would make that same meal at home, I was satiated and and I weighed everything out at home. I had far more calories at the end of the day. And that was actually one of my favorite things to do, was to have a banana and peanut butter as my dessert. So you end up learning a lot of different things about food and how to kind of trick yourself and help yourself go, oh, that's not so bad, as Randall eats his banana. So great. um, so there is no such thing, all right, let me make this very clear, as bad food. They're choices. Food is food. It is meant for us to be able to enjoy it. It is meant for us to be able to uh, let it bring ourselves results, go out and enjoy when we are able to go out and enjoy, and sometimes order in as some of us are doing now. But it is still things for us to enjoy. Now, the cookies in the cabinet, right? It's maybe the success for you in this entire process is not eating the entire row of cookies, right? Maybe it's only one cookie a day. So this isn't a, hey, let's abstain from everything program. This is let's make this into a lifestyle. And the thing that I really like about this is it's 2 months and we're going to be able to get some really, really great progress. So that's the nutrition part. Anything you want to add?
I think the most important part when thinking about nutrition is small wins. Like how Drew was saying, like maybe don't eat the whole row of cookies, like maybe just eat one. Like it's like don't think about it like, oh, I have to like make sure everything is on point and I'm just so perfect in my eating and everything. It's small wins. It's like, oh, I was able to stick with my calories today, even though I did have, a cup of ice cream or something, but I still maintained my calories. Or it's just like those small things that'll help us like see progress and make these habits like long lasting, because it's all about like, I know we're very impatient, but it's about that slow progress that really it's it'll be better in the long run and it'll stay longer than if we try to cut everything out super fast.
Can you share your story of what happened and why you had to get into this?
So I have an autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, that I went to go get tested for, and it I actually had to cut everything out cold turkey, like just super strict diet for my immune system. Basically, all I had every day was chicken and sweet potato, and not even with seasonings. Like salt and pepper was probably the most I could use. So, and that was for like a month straight. That's all I could eat, and like nothing else. And I ended up, even though I ended up losing a lot of weight, it was kind of torturous in the beginning, and then slowly like adding more stuff in, and it was a real learning process, and Drew could be a witness to that with my complaining and me being in constant pain emotionally. But it forced me to look at food differently. It forced me to look at diets differently, um, because I was like a chronic dieter, if you will. I tried all the diets out there, and it's what pushed me to go through this nutrition certification, because it's just so fascinating to me, like how the body works and how it is fueled with food and like the stuff we put in it. Um, so now I have a much better relationship with food because I was forced to look at it differently. I was forced to, step back and be like, okay, like what's serving me here and what isn't, and that's not just with food, but with like my thoughts and the way I view things, my perspective. So on this stuff just like fascinates me and I love it so much. And going through stuff like this, like even this small challenge, will really change your outlook on things, and or at least I hope so. Um, and it'll really help you build a better relationship with food and just with yourself in general, which is what we're all hoping for here.
Um, give me a second real quick. I don't even know if that was muted or not. But Liz, go ahead, and if you want to unmute yourself, and then you have a question.
Yeah. I might have missed this at the beginning, but you said that the way that we're going to be tracking this is through macros, or you were kind of like, oh, you could do it a number of ways. So that's the first question. And then the second question is, how are we going to obtain a baseline from which to ascertain what it means to cut 10%? Like, how do we even know we're cutting 10%?
So if you decide to go the macro route, okay, and you are struggling with, first you need to go to the tdeecalculator.com, right? Put in what you know, right? What your weight is, your age, your activity level. Most of us right now are what I would consider low activity, okay? And that's just where we're at right now. We're just not moving in the same amount, because what we're looking for is a baseline information, because just for a like raise of hands, because we have like, for those of you who are on video, if you could raise your hand if you are doing more than 4 workouts a week right now while at home. Good job. That's great. Awesome. So Tamar, that was the virtual raise of a hand. That was awesome. So that's great. Okay. And we're going to continue. Yes, James, walking does count. It's exercise, but it's not at the hour-long version as what you guys are used to. So just from that alone, you're losing calorie burn, okay? So that's why we want to take a lower activity level on the total daily energy calculator and use that as your baseline measurement, and then take 10% from there. Now, if you don't know on how to do macronutrients, and all of that stuff is like confusing to you and you're like, I have no idea, guess what, my friends? You are in luck. Because if you do want, and I didn't want to do this, like, and say this out on, just right away, but if you want to level up and get nutrition coaching, we have that available, and we can go granular with you and help you do that, right? And you can work with one of the nutrition coaches. However, what I wanted to focus on is being able to give you guys free information first. And if you need extra help, extra accountability, then we can offer that as well, that's where we would dial in your specific macronutrients. So, but for the sake of this program, you don't have to go into MyFitnessPal and track your protein, fats, and carbs and fiber. Okay. You don't have to do that inside this program. You just have to log your food. So we're looking more for baseline habits throughout this program, and taking pictures of your food, and, following some of the things that we've laid out for you is the spot that we're looking for. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Thank you. Also, no, yeah, that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you sure? I think you muted yourself again, maybe.
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
gonna just start logging on MyFitnessPal and go from there.
Cool. So here's
Hey
what we
guys,
would.
sorry, I was driving, but I'm sorry to interrupt, and I'm sorry if this already got answered when I wasn't here. This is Aubrey, and I think somebody just might have asked this on the chat, but just to clarify, I had Wodify Rise downloaded on my phone, and it won't give me the new challenge, but I assume that that's going to be happening on Friday because that's the official start date. Is that right?
So when did you sign up? Like, when did you register for the challenge?
I didn't yet. I have not yet. So when I click on the link today, for example, from the email, it it goes through the dance. It opens Wodify Rise. It shows me the old challenge I was doing 2 years ago, but it did not show me any place to sign up at all.
Oh, that's weird. It should.
Okay. So
Same issue, just if that helps.
well, we sent out a separate link. Okay. That is Pendulum Lifestyle .wodifyrise.com.
Right. And so when I click on that, I've clicked on that a few times. I've tried to do that one a few times. And it just doesn't, it shows up like an error for me. And I just wanted to see maybe what I might be doing wrong. Pendulum Lifestyle Challenge.wodifyrise.com takes me to like a link that says you can't connect or whatever.
Correct. Yeah, that one we're aware of. And so what happened on that one is that I discussed this earlier in the call, that we are I had to close that one down because people weren't able to log in today.
Got it.
And so you want to be able to use the one that is Pendulum Lifestyle .wodifyrise.com. That's the one to register through. I would try potentially using Chrome and doing it through that, because we have like over 20 some people that are already logged into it, and I left like 180 type tickets in there so that people can register. What I want you to do is, if you cannot get in, so this is for Aubrey and anybody else that's on this call, if you cannot get in to the registration, okay, then I need you to send me an email, info@pendulum.fit. All right, so go ahead and leave this in the chat.
Yeah.
info@pendulum.fit, so that I can add you to the program. We'll have to do it manually. But because of the way that Wodify has it configured, we are having to launch it on Friday, okay? So that everybody can start going in there, logging everything. Some of you already got in on the one that was supposed to start today, and you were able to kind of like start putting your things in. Unfortunately, we can't, it's limited in my control. So I was like, all right, I need to be able to get everybody in on this. So we're pushing it out to Friday.
Okay, no problem. I did try the newer link you mentioned, and it would not let me in, but I just sent you an email.
Okay, great. So we'll, yeah, we'll do that. This is different. This is a different Wodify app. So it's called Wodify Rise, RISE. It's a red app. Amanda. If you got the clock counting down, that means that you are registered and you are in the right program, Amy. So that's the one for Friday. Yes. That's the one that we're going to try and get everybody in on. So okay. Any other questions on that stuff right there? Great. So we've covered nutrition, we've covered water, sleep. So this is, hopefully people are getting more sleep now than ever before. But what is really difficult for people during this time is that with sleep, you're missing out on, like, it's tough maybe because you're just stressed out with uncertainty. Maybe you're stressed out with like, are you going to have a job? Like, what's going on? Like, things, you're focusing on things that, you know, that are impacting you, and that is normal. What that is also causing you is cortisol levels. All right. Your cortisol levels are spiking. Sleep is an awesome opportunity for you to dump that cortisol because you're able to let that go. And it also is a area in your life that you can produce testosterone, right? Whether that you're male or female, we all need that in order to produce more muscle. So if you can consume 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, then that's going to help you dump that cortisol and also help you recover well. The other thing to know about sleep, if you do not have good sleep, I remember talking when I was still teaching the 6 a.m. Classic class, and 6 a.m. and 4. And I told some of them, hey, look, here's the things that you can control with your sleep. You can put your phone down, set an alarm, right, on your phone that this is when you're going to stop looking at it. This is when you're going to stop being on your computer. You're going to get up and you're going to go away from that all. And you're going to focus on that during this time so that you can start to build healthy habits that you are social distancing from your phone. And you're going to put that stuff away so that you can start being able to go to bed. Why? Because that blue light from the computer or from the phone is telling you that it's still daylight, right? And that daylight is setting a signal to your body that says, hey, I'm supposed to be awake. So one of the things that I want you guys to start doing is to put that away and say, I'm going to just leave this over here for an hour before or 30 minutes before I go to bed, and then completely blacking out your room. All right. That means that it should be completely dark. If you need to bring one of those eye masks over, if you're married or you're in a relationship and you are sleeping next to somebody, you run into a completely different set of challenges because one person may like the bed hotter or colder, or there's, you're married to a white person who likes a noisemaker. And so anyway, Some of the reactions I'm getting are awesome. So anyway, the things that you figure out when you marry a different race is amazing. But the importance there is that you figure out something that will allow for you to get better sleep. Okay. And I strongly encourage you to work on practicing this, because if you can do this, you're going to feel amazing. Your workouts are going to improve. And there's so many other benefits from it. Do you have any other sleep tips?
There's actually a really cool book called Why We Sleep. I forgot the name of the author, but it goes over like the science of it, like the chemicals that happen in our body throughout the day for like sleep and our whole circadian rhythm. But I think an important thing to remember is sleep is what it's what our body goes through like to make our gains, like working out. It's the sleep part that helps us gain muscle, lose weight, all that stuff. Like sleep is so crucial and important in how our body reacts and um, how our body develops throughout the time. So like if you think about it like that, it's a real game changer. Like it's not the workouts, it's not all that stuff. It's the rest and the recovery that you give your body to allow yourself to gain the muscle, to lose the fat. It's so important. Like if you think you're doing everything right and you're not getting enough sleep, that's probably why you're not losing that last 5 pounds, So it's like those small things that we have to like take into consideration and why sleep is so important. But that book is really interesting. I'll find the name of the author and talk about it some other time. But
You want to drop it in the chat?
yeah, I'll look it up right now.
Boom. Cool. So that brings us through sleep. The next thing that we have on there is fitness. Now, this is the stuff that most of you have come to us for. All right. This is the stuff that we are already kind of got down to a certain extent. What we're going to be rolling out in the upcoming weeks is that you guys, if you choose, you'll be getting, if you want this, if you don't, that's totally okay. But we're going to have custom workouts, what we are calling individual design. All right. That means that if you have this nagging shoulder thing, you're going to be able to get a individualized program that's going to help you deal with your nagging shoulder. If you have a bad knee that you have been not taken care of, or this quad thing that you haven't been taken care of, I see you, iPhone 7, that is going to be something that you would greatly be able to utilize in this time, right? Or if you've got a low back thing, this is the time that we're actually going to be able to individualize your workouts for you and be able to help you get better. So we're going to be doing that for you guys coming up. Now, granted, if you don't want that, that's fine. But it is an extra service that we're going to be giving to people. So that is coming. And that is one of the things that with the fitness portion, I think that will be really, really valuable here. We have decided out of this entire challenge to make the workouts actually the lowest point total. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
The highest point total is what?
Sleep, water, food.
Food, I believe, is the number one. I think that has 10 points. Is that right?
Yes.
And then sleep is 8 points.
And so is water.
And so is water. All right. We don't want to work on the things that you guys already know what to do. We want to focus on the things that we need to get better at. So utilize that time now. Get competitive. Dulce has been through one of these before. That's how she landed here. And that was epic because, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Dulce, if you want to speak to that, that'd be really cool. Do you want to take the floor for a second?
About the challenge?
Yeah.
In general?
Because you used the Wi-Fi Rise program in the past.
Yes, I have. I actually thought it was really good. I did land at Pendulum because of it, and it was like, because I started with the challenge, I think it's like encouraged me to stay because I like was able to build the community there. But aside from that, with like using the app and the nutrition part, it did teach me a lot about like being aware of what I ate. Because I kind of had like a similar situation with Leanna where like health-wise, I was forced to eliminate a lot of food. For me, it was like celiac. So like for a year, I went without dairy or anything gluten just before I could find out what exactly was affecting my body. But even then, I once we found out it was celiac, I still wasn't necessarily the healthiest because I could find alternatives and I was still eating other things that affected me. So it wasn't until the challenge where I actually was able to really understand what it meant to be nutritious and like feed my body healthy things, and learning what actually fuels it versus what, even though hot Cheetos were gluten-free, they weren't the healthiest for my body. And as an athlete, it was not doing any good for me. But so I actually thought that the challenge was, for me, that was what I took the most out of, was learning what to put into my body, when, how much, and finding alternatives that were actually good for me, because I was already so limited. So I thought it was fun. I liked doing the challenge, which is why I'm like doing it again, because it's
Do you
fun.
remember? Do you remember the one thing that drove you crazy about the challenge, though?
The one thing that drove me crazy about
I
the
remember.
challenge. No, what, can you remind me what was the thing that drove me crazy?
Don't cheat.
Oh yes, don't cheat. That was the word. That did suck because yes, don't cheat.
Why is that?
Because we will know.
That's exactly right. Like, because the thing is that even though this is all remote, it's like, wait a minute, they didn't even record their score in Wodify.
Yeah.
It's like, no, oh, they said they did something, right?
Or
So
if you're like very detail oriented and happen to just pay attention to these little things, if you said you got 8 hours of sleep, but you posted at 2:00 in the morning on Facebook, someone's gonna see it.
that's exactly right. So you were on Instagram doing a story at 1 a.m, and then you woke up and did the 7 o'clock workout, and okay, you got 8 hours. So
Yeah, yes.
I think
Thanks
we
for
need to
reminding
remember
me of that. That
right?
was the worst.
Just know that there are a lot of lawyers in our gym, and they'll find you and they'll find the loophole. So anyway, please don't cheat. That's the one thing that we would all recommend to a lot of you is do that. Enjoy the process. Put your scores in. Have fun with the program. And what days and times did we say that we were going to be doing this in the future? Because what we'd like to do is have like 2 calls a week if you want to jump on and make them like FAQs, like frequently asked questions. And the main thing there would be time. What days did we discuss?
So Wednesdays and Sundays. On Sundays it'll be at 12, I believe we said, and then on Wednesdays today was only the day that we did one, right?
Yeah.
So Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
Wait, no, Wednesdays at 6 isn't that your
No, Wednesdays at 11 is my
yoga?
unless everyone is cool with 1. This time works. If for people that wanted to do like noon class and then jump right on after, I wanted to give people time.
So Wednesdays at 6.
So Wednesdays at 6 and then Sundays at 12.
So those will be open FAQs. You don't have to sign in, but there will be, different tips and tricks and things like that. I would love to see you guys be tagging us on social media. Pendulum Lifestyle is the hashtag. We've got like that hashtag Pendulum Cook Off right now, where people are posting their recipes and their at home foods. I haven't seen anybody do a carry out one yet. That would be hilarious. But yeah, the hashtag for this challenge is going to be hashtag Pendulum Lifestyle, and would love for you guys to tag that and tag us on social so that we can repost that and make sure that, if you have any other questions, let's see what we got. James, the reason we recommend an 8-hour block. I understand that some people that is not the shifts thing. There's debatable, argumentative, approach on that. Yes, you can. I would like to see 8-hour blocks, right? And I know that may be difficult, but it's something to work on. Just from a science perspective, right? The things that you get from consistent sleep is very, very important. So we're looking for an 8-hour block, my friend.
Rachel has a question.
Go ahead.
She said in the in-body analysis at the gym, I noticed that it's 300 calories less than when she did it on the online calculator. Which one should she follow?
Follow your in-body. Yep. If you have an in-body scan from recently, that would be the. So Rachel's question was, which one should she follow, the in-body scan or the TDEE calculator? You want to follow the in-body as your BMR. So your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. What that means is that wherever you wake up, and if you just lay in bed all day, that's how many calories that you're going to burn, right? So that's how much food that a very bare minimum you have to consume. Okay. So it's kind of mind blowing, right? When you're like, oh, no wonder why I wasn't losing weight. I was only consuming 1,500 calories and my BMR says that I need to consume 1,800. So your body goes into starvation mode at that point and just decides to say, I'm going to keep all of these things and I'm not going to let the body function and burn the way that it's supposed to.
So like for that though, you would follow, since that is the minimum calories that you burn just doing nothing and you're not just doing nothing, take that into consideration when you cut the calories. So when you said like follow the in-body one, yeah, that's like your basal metabolic rate, but the TDEE one, put into account like your activity level. So when you when you make a deficit from that, go with the TDEE one because that takes into consideration your activity. Because we don't want you to be consuming less calories than your body physically needs to function.
Okay.
Yes, Liz. No? I thought I saw a hand raised. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Jeff.
Is it more important to hit the macros or the calorie count?
That is dependent. Both are important. If you're not doing the macro thing and you're just focusing on eating like whole nutritious foods, then I would say go for calories. If you are want to be more detail oriented, like okay, I need to maintain a certain, like I need to intake a certain amount of protein so I don't like lose muscle or something, then I would say macros are more important. But it's all dependent on what your goal is. If you kind of just want to take this more as a general, like I just need to, make healthy habits and, consume, good nutritious food, then I would say go with calories.
I got a question about the Wodify app. I was trying to put my score in today, and in the drop downs, I couldn't find the drop down mix that I thought was appropriate, so it wouldn't let me actually enter the score.
You should be able to log into any class right now and be able to enter your score, whatever that score was for the day.
Okay.
So you can log. So we have it set up right now to that you can log into any class and log your score for any given time.
Okay, because I went to the coach board, and then it said add performance. And then the first thing it says type, and it says previous WOD, gymnastics, weightlifting, Metacon, weightlifting total.
Yeah, you don't want to click on any of that stuff. You want to just click on your
Results.
add results.
Okay, so I'm in the wrong place then.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, that is all we have for you. And hopefully that you guys found this valuable. I will have this link up on YouTube, and we'll then, spray this out to the member base. And hopefully you guys are staying healthy and well, and we'll see you, or she will, on Sunday.
Bye, guys.